The hierarchy of Earth has been shattered. What happens when the world's most efficient killers are forced into a single, suffocating arena? Imagine a world where the borders of evolution have been erased, a continent where the maps are written in blood and the only law is the terrifying logic of the kill. You are standing in the center of a nightmare landscape where the geography of the planet has shifted to place the world's most efficient killers in a single, suffocating arena. This is not a balanced ecosystem, it is a pressure cooker of fur, bone, and primal intent. The air here is heavy, thick with the scent of musk and the metallic tang of old kills. Silence is not peace, it is the sound of 1,000 predators holding their breath, waiting for the one mistake that ends a life. Every snap of a twig is a death sentence, and every shadow has teeth. The Siberian tiger moves through the high, frost-tipped grass of the northern taiga like a ghost made of muscle and orange fire. He is the largest of his kind, a half-ton of solitary calculation. To him, the world is a series of tactical angles. He does not hunt for sport, he hunts to maintain a dominion that is being encroached upon from every side. For the first time in his lineage, he is hearing sounds that don't belong in his woods. He hears the rhythmic, communal panting of a pack that doesn't tire. He smells the heavy, oily scent of a beast that doesn't fear his size. The tiger is a master of the ambush, a surgical blade in the dark, but in this new continent, the shadows are already occupied. Down in the golden, sun-scorched valleys, the African lion stands as a monument to collective power. He is not a ghost, he is a king who demands to be seen. His roar is a shockwave that rattles the ribs of anything living within 5 miles. But here, his roar is met not with submission, but with a dozen different types of defiance. The lion relies on his pride, a heavy infantry of sisters and brothers, but the open plains are no longer his alone. He watches the tree lean with a new kind of anxiety. Usually, the lion is the apex, the final word in any argument. Now, he sees movement in the canopy that defies his understanding of weight. He sees eyes reflecting the sun from places where no cat should be. Deep in the humid, tangled heart of the southern rainforests, the jaguar waits. He is the smallest of the titans, yet perhaps the most terrifying because he has mastered the verticality of death. He doesn't just kill, he executes. His bite is designed not to suffocate, but to shatter the very seat of consciousness. He watches from the vines as a grizzly bear, a massive mountain of brown fur and prehistoric rage, wanders into the riverbed. The bear is a force of nature, an animal that treats the world like it owes him a debt. He doesn't hide. He doesn't sneak. He simply takes. But as the grizzly paws at the water, he feels a gaze on the back of his neck that makes his thick hide crawl. For the first time, the bear realizes that being the strongest might not matter if your opponent is invisible. The gray wolves are the ghosts of the perimeter. They are the only ones who understand that on this continent, individual greatness is a liability. They move as a single, shifting organism, a gray tide that never stops flowing. They don't need the tiger's strength or the jaguar's bite, they have time. They watch the lion from the ridges, tracking his movements, waiting for the moment the king tires. They are the accountants of the apocalypse, calculating exactly how much energy it takes to bring down a god. They are the only ones who aren't fighting for a throne, they are fighting to outlast the world itself. Their howl is a reminder that no matter how big you are, you still have to sleep. The first conflict happens at the intersection of the scrubland and the deep forest, a place where the light dies early. A tiger, patrolling his boundary, crosses the scent trail of a lion. This is a collision of two different philosophies of violence. The lion is built for the frontal assault, for the brawl, for the enduring struggle of the pride. The tiger is a creature of the sudden, explosive end. They circle each other in a dance that has never happened in nature, a localized war between the steppes of Asia and the savannas of Africa. There is no growling, only the low, vibrating hiss of two killing machines realizing that for one to live, the other must become a memory. They are evenly matched, a terrifying symmetry of claws and teeth, but the fight never reaches its conclusion because the ground begins to shake. Out of the brush emerges the grizzly, a 3-meter-tall nightmare of irritability. He doesn't care about the tiger's grace or the lion's nobility. He wants the carcass that lies between them. The grizzly represents the brute force of the continent, the hammer that breaks the surgical tools of the cats. He roars, a sound like grinding stones, and for a brief, unnatural moment, the lion and the tiger share a look of recognition. They are both predators of the highest order, but the bear is a survivor of the ice. He is built to endure wounds that would kill a lesser animal 10 times over. The tension is a physical weight, a 3-way standoff where any movement triggers a cascade of gore. But as the 3 titans face off, the shadows at the edge of the clearing begin to multiply. The wolves have arrived. They don't enter the circle, they surround it. They sit in the darkness, their yellow eyes blinking in unison. They are the audience at a gladiator match, waiting for the giants to exhaust themselves. The lion knows this game. The tiger fears it. The bear ignores it. This is the new reality of the shared continent. Every fight is a gamble, and every victory is a dinner invitation for the scavengers who are also kings. The ecosystem is breaking under the weight of so much lethal intent. The prey animals have long since fled or been decimated, leaving the predators to look at each other with hungry, desperate eyes. The jaguar remains the wild card, the phantom of the middle canopy. He avoids the grand standoffs of the plains. He is a specialist in the niche. He watches a lone wolf that has wandered too far from the pack, tracking it with the patience of a stone. When he strikes, it is not a fight, it is a mechanical failure of the wolf's spine. The jaguar drags the body into the trees, disappearing before the pack can even register the loss. He is the reminder that on this continent, death doesn't always come with a roar. Sometimes, it comes from above, silent and certain, leaving nothing but a missing space in the ranks. As night falls, the continent transforms into a landscape of pure paranoia. The thermal advantage shifts. The tiger and the jaguar own the darkness, their eyes turning the midnight woods into a bright, navigable map of targets. The lion, usually a nocturnal hunter, finds himself disadvantaged by the sheer number of competitors who don't fear the dark. The grizzly retreats to the rocky outcroppings, his back to the stone, his massive claws ready to swipe at anything that breathes too loudly. The wolves keep moving, their endurance allowing them to cover miles while the others rest. The sound of the night is a chorus of snapping branches, distant yelps, and the heavy, rhythmic thud of something very large running for its life. The water sources become the most dangerous places on Earth. A single river serves as the drinking hole for the entire nightmare. Here, the truce is thin as ice. A tiger drinks on one bank, his eyes locked on a pride of lions on the other. In the shallows, the jaguar waits for a movement, while the grizzly stands in the center of the current, daring anyone to challenge his fishing rights. There is no peace here, only a temporary postponement of the inevitable. Every animal is hydrated by the same water that will eventually wash their blood into the soil. The competition is so fierce that the animals have begun to adapt, their behaviors warping under the pressure of constant threat. The tiger, once the undisputed king of the solitary hunt, begins to develop a sense of hypervigilance that borders on madness. He no longer eats his kill on the ground, he has learned from the jaguar to drag what he can into the low branches, despite his massive size. The lion, finding that his roar draws too much unwanted attention from the grizzly and the wolf packs, becomes a silent hunter, a ghost of the plains who only speaks when the kill is certain. The grizzly becomes even more territorial, marking trees with a ferocity that leaves the bark shredded, a desperate attempt to create a zone of privacy in a world that refuses to give him any. There is a psychological toll to this eternal war. You can see it in the way the wolf's eyes dart, in the way the tiger's ears never stop twitching. They are the elite, the best the earth has ever produced, but they are trapped in a cycle of diminishing returns. The energy required to survive is starting to outweigh the calories they can find. This continent is a beautiful, terrifying mistake of nature, a place where the concept of top of the food chain has become a lethal paradox. If everyone is at the top, then the top is a crowded, crumbling ledge. A massive storm rolls across the continent, bringing with it a deluge that turns the battlegrounds into mud pits. The rain levels the playing field. The scents are washed away, the vision of the cats is clouded, and the hearing of the wolves is muffled by the thunder. In this chaos, the grizzly finds his advantage. He moves through the storm like an armored tank, his sense of smell still catching the faint, wet scent of a lioness separated from her pride. The ensuing struggle is a primal blur of mud and fur, a clash that shakes the very trees. There is no grace in this fight, only the desperate, grinding reality of two apex predators trying to prove that their lineage is the one that deserves to survive the night. The lioness fights with the precision of a duelist, her claws finding the bear's soft spots, but the bear's sheer mass is an argument she cannot win. Just as the grizzly prepares to deliver a crushing blow, the tiger emerges from the rain, not to save the lioness, but to capitalize on the bear's distraction. It is a chaotic, three-way convergence of the world's most powerful hitters. The tiger's speed meets the bear's power, while the lioness uses her agility to stay in the periphery, looking for a throat. This is the essence of the continent, a shifting, unstable geometry of violence where alliances don't exist, only temporary coincidences of hunger. High above, the jaguar watches the carnage from a sturdy branch, his tail twitching in the rain. He is the philosopher of this hell, the one who understands that the best way to win this war is to let the others lose it first. He waits for the exhaustion to set in. He waits for the bear to tire, for the tiger to bleed, for the lioness to falter. He is the master of the aftermath. But even he is not safe. A pack of wolves, sensing the vulnerability of the giants below, begins to gather at the base of his tree. They have learned that the jaguar is the most dangerous one to leave alive, and they are willing to lose half their number just to bring him down to earth. The storm passes, leaving the continent in a state of bruised, battered silence. The sun rises on a landscape that has been rearranged by the night's violence. There are no clear victors, only survivors. A lion limps across the plain, his mane matted with mud and blood. A tiger licks a deep gash in his shoulder, his eyes still scanning the brush for the next threat. The grizzly has retreated to his cave, his body a map of scars that will never fully heal. The wolves are fewer in number, but their resolve is hardened, their pack dynamic forged into something even more lethal by the pressure of the giants. This is the eternal stalemate of the apex continent. Nature did not design these animals to coexist because the world isn't big enough for all of them to be the best. When you put the ultimate strength against the ultimate speed, and the ultimate stealth against the ultimate endurance, you don't get a winner. You get a permanent state of war. You get a continent that is constantly vibrating with the tension of a bowstring about to snap. There is no king of the jungle here, because the jungle belongs to whoever is still breathing at dawn, and that title changes every single hour. The tiger moves back into the deep shadows, his stripes blending with the flickering light of the forest. He is a master of the long game, a creature that has survived for millennia by being the most patient thing in the woods. But even he feels the shift in the air. He knows that somewhere, the lion is regrouping. Somewhere, the bear is recovering. Somewhere, the wolves are counting. And somewhere, right above him, the jaguar is looking down, checking the thickness of his skull. The cycle begins again, not because it wants to, but because it has no choice. In a world where everyone is a predator, the only thing left to hunt is each other. The continent is a masterpiece of Darwinian horror. It is the answer to a question that should never have been asked. It shows us that the balance of nature is not a peaceful agreement, but a finely tuned set of distances. When those distances are removed, the result is a visceral, non-stop thriller where the lead characters are all built to kill the audience. There is no ending to this story, no final credits where one animal stands on a mountain of the others. There is only the next hunt, the next ambush, the next breath taken in a place where breathing is an act of war. The tiger pauses by a stream, his reflection distorted by the ripples in the water. For a moment, he looks tired. The weight of being the world's most perfect killing machine is heavy when everyone else is trying to be the same thing. But then, a scent hits him. It's the smell of a grizzly, fresh and close. It's the smell of a wolf pack on the move. It's the smell of the lion, reclaiming his territory. The tiger's eyes narrow, his muscles coil, and the exhaustion vanishes, replaced by the only thing that matters on this continent, the drive to remain. He vanishes into the undergrowth, a ghost once more, leaving the world to wonder who is truly the hunter and who is truly the prey. As the sun sets again, casting long, bloody shadows across the plains, the roar of the lion meets the howl of the wolf. The tiger's growl merges with the bear's huff. The jaguar's silent strike completes the symphony. It is a beautiful, terrifying noise, the sound of a continent that refuses to settle for anything less than total dominance. They are all kings, they are all gods, and they are all trapped in a hell of their own making. The fight continues, not because there is a prize to be won, but because on this continent, the only way to prove you are the apex is to never, ever stop fighting. The grass sways, the trees shiver, and the water flows, all of them indifferent to the titans that tear at each other's throats. The earth doesn't care who wins, it only cares that the blood keeps the soil rich. And so the lion hunts, the tiger stalks, the bear crushes, the wolf persists, and the jaguar executes. It is a perfect system of carnage, a perpetual motion machine of teeth and claws. No one wins, no one loses, and the continent keeps spinning, a dark, thrilling monument to the absolute limit of evolution. If you ever find yourself on the shores of this place, listen closely to the wind. You won't hear the birds singing or the wind rustling the leaves. You will hear the sound of the world's greatest predators realizing they are no longer alone at the top. You will hear the sound of a million years of evolution crashing together in a single, desperate moment. And if you're very lucky, you'll hear it from a long, long way away. Because on the continent of the kings, there is no room for anything else. The tiger, the lion, the bear, the wolf, and the jaguar are locked in a dance that will only end when the world itself stops turning, a thriller with no final act, only a series of heart-stopping scenes played out in the dark, forever. The Siberian tiger's paw hits the soft earth, silent as falling snow. He is 30 feet from the lion, who is staring down a grizzly. The wolves are 10 feet behind the tiger, and the jaguar is 10 feet above the lion. The tension is a physical entity, a wire stretched until it's humming. One bird chirps. One leaf falls. The balance tilts. And in that split second, the continent explodes into motion once more, a chaotic, beautiful, and utterly heartless display of what happens when you put the best against the best. There is no conclusion. There is only the hunt. And the hunt is eternal.